No Sleep in Bethlehem by Matthew Bright. A Gothic novella in 3 parts, read by the author. I have a story to tell about the winter that we lived with ghosts in a house that shook at night. It begins with a telegram delivered in the early hours of the morning and ends with letters interred in dirt at sundown. That is, if it can honestly be said that anything ends. Even from the vantage point of decades in which I've watched the jackboot of history crush so many delicate flowers, even then I find it harder and harder to believe that anything truly constitutes an unequivocal ending. Even, or perhaps especially, including those things that are dead, gone, and buried. Perhaps that is hope. Or perhaps it is dread. No Sleep in Bethlehem by Matthew Bright. Read by the author with additional voices by Philip Zielinski and Kat Wilson, and music by Patch Middleton. Episode 1. The Bell That Rings. Germany, December 1936. Let's begin with the arrival. The train surged through a wilderness thick and heavy with pine and fir, half buried in drifts so deep that the trunks and lower branches were swallowed whole. Whenever we passed close enough, I saw spindly fingers grasping up through the white ground for air. The tracks wound and detoured as if intimidated by the black woods, afraid to press straight through and disturb the natural geography, but despite this, the engines strained, eager to deliver us from out of the land of sunlight and terraces we came from, and into the wild winter of our destination. It was a landscape so perfectly fitting to our journey and its ill mix of gloom and anticipation that I might as well have conjured it myself with paint and brushes. Opposite, Hans ignored me, as he had ever since we boarded at the Connection in Mannheim. Until then, he'd been capable of mustering a patina of good spirits, but as the landscape darkened, so had his mood. I couldn't blame him, but it still set me feeling like a useless accessory to our journey, neither use nor ornament, as my mother would have described it. Brow furrowed, he stared out of the window into his own pale reflection in the glass. Having foolishly packed my drawing things away in my trunk where I couldn't easily reach them, I had little to occupy myself besides observing him, though I tried to do it lightly, concealed in absent-minded changes of position or the stretch of my neck. Hans always wore attention heavily, especially mine. The only time he would readily submit to my undisguised gaze without discomfort was when he sat for me to draw. He caught me looking and shifted. In another time and place, he might have added a wry, he spends his days staring at drawings, his nights staring at the real thing. What do I have to do to quench the thirst? He might have gently shrugged me away, but not today. I quickly averted my gaze into his glass twin, the exhausted imitation of my love, trapped in the flurries of snow and steam fleeing past the window. Grim? Yes, but can you imagine the sun shining on a son returning home to bury his mother? Back home in Paris. When did I start calling it home?
Sample complete. Ready to continue?